Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Rambler Sports Locker. I'm Megan Carabelli.
And I'm Bridget Sheeran. Well, Megan, it looks like hockey's back. Well, sort of. The hockey preseason started this week, and tonight your wings are going to be clipped by my Bruins Bear claws.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure my wings could fly away from your enormous and bulky Bruins anyway. Plus, aren't you still hibernating? And by hibernating, I mean recovering from your Stanley Cup loss?
Well, at least we made it to the finals, but I guess it's only the preseason, so maybe we should just get started with the news.
Fine.
The women's soccer team had quite a weekend as they went undefeated in both of their matchups. The first of these two games was a 1-1 tie with SIU Edwardsville that went into double overtime and still couldn't be decided. Loyola's lone goal in that game came off the foot of freshman Alex Gage. It was the first goal of Gage's college career. The second victory was a lopsided 3-0 decision over Eastern Illinois University. It was a family affair as Alex's sister, junior Sammy Gage, scored 2 goals in 6 minutes in the first half, giving the Ramblers an early lead. Not to be outdone, sophomore Kara Ruffalo ended the first half with another goal, giving the Ramblers a 3-goal lead that the Panthers were never able to overcome. Junior goalkeeper Monica Gagno ended the weekend with a total 11 saves and only 1 goal against. The Ramblers have another big weekend ahead of them as they face off against 2 local rivals in Northern Illinois University and DePaul University. Northern Illinois visits Hoyne-Field on Saturday, while the Ramblers will host the DePaul Blue Demons on Sunday night in yet another installment of the Red Line rivalry.
The men's golf team is starting their season out right with one of their biggest wins in program history. The Ramblers had their first conference tournament of the season this past Sunday in Normal, Illinois. The match was close with the Ramblers taking home the win by just 1 stroke against Purdue. Senior Nick Willenborg stole the show at the 54-hole event with a score of 214. He has now been named the Missouri Valley Conference Men's Golfer of the Week. Willenborg is now ranked 3rd on the team with an average 8-round score of 73.2. The team's next match will take place on Monday and Tuesday in Chicago for the CSU Cougar Classic.
What do Pretty Little Liars, rugby, and the color chartreuse have in common? That the average sports fan probably doesn't know anything about any of them. Ariana Slater lets us in on the mystery of rugby.
Hoyne-Field, home to several athletic teams for Loyola University Chicago, including the Ramblers Division I men's and women's soccer teams. But there's no soccer being played today. Football? Well, kind of, except in this sport the balls are a little bit fatter. For most, the thought of bulldozing into groups of large men doesn't sound too appealing. But for senior Matt Durfee, the choice to play rugby was an easy one.
I knew coming out of high school that I wanted to do a physical sport that kept me active. And my brother played in college, so I kind of had a little interest into it and started probably my first week of school and just fell in love right away. A very physical sport, great guys, very social sport.
Contrary to how this sport appears, rugby is more than just guys running into each other, but there are mechanics, just like any other sport.
There's 2 kind of passes you can do in rugby. One's more of a spiral, like it looks almost like a football pass, and another one's a pop pass, and it's almost it just doesn't move at all. It kind of floats like that, where the spiral here, let me back up a little bit. The spiral pass, it rolls off your fingers more, like that.
While physical sports are often considered to be all brawn and no brain, Durfee stressed the importance of using your head.
I was coming across the field to make a tackle, and I knocked out a guy's tooth with my forehead and had to get 8 stitches. And then the following week I split it back open again and had to get stitches again. So obviously to play rugby you have to be a little cuckoo in the head to, hit each other with no pads on and be running at full speed.
Now, as everyone knows, you can't talk rugby without talking about short shorts.
I just like short shorts. What's wrong with? I actually don't know how that originated. You get more mobility. I guess that's a plus.
Don't let the short shorts fool you. These are some of the toughest athletes around. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Ariana Slater.
Hopefully no more teeth are lost when the Loyola Griffins take on Eastern Illinois on October 5th at Hoyne-Field. The women's golf team was also in action over the weekend as they placed 6th in the Cougar Golf Classic. Senior Carly Schneider led the way for the Ramblers, scoring a career-low 73 and tying for 8th place in the tournament. The Ramblers scored a team total 635 and were only 3 strokes behind 5th place Texas Pan American. Along with Schneider, sophomore Olivia Lindsley also tied a team best of 73. Senior April Ohlendorf also finished in the top 20 for the tournament, shooting an 80 on the weekend. The Ramblers have the next 2 weeks off before they pick up the clubs again at the Butler Fall Invitational in Indianapolis on October 7th.
Battle of the Sexes and Race Inequality. This week in history was famous for its groundbreaking moments. Let's take a look at some of these historic sporting events with Milap Mehta. What have you got for us, Milap?
On this day in 1947, Jackie Robinson was named Major League Baseball's Rookie of the Year. Robinson famously broke the color barrier when he made his debut for the Brooklyn Dodgers on April 15, 1947. Robinson hit .297 and had 12 home runs during that rookie campaign. From 1940 to 1946, the award was given by the Chicago chapter of the Baseball Writers Association of America. But in 1947, the award went national, and Robinson became the first player to win the award. In 1987, the Rookie of the Year award was renamed the Jackie Robinson Award. That year, the award was given to Mark McGwire of the Oakland A's. In addition to breaking racial barriers, we are also approaching the 40th anniversary of the famous Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs Battle of the Sexes match. A 20-year-old Billie Jean handedly beat Riggs 6'4", 6'3", 6'3", proving that female players could handle their own against men in 5 sets. And that's it for This Week in History. Back to you, Megan.
Thanks, Milap. I had no idea the Rookie of the Year award was called the Jackie Robinson Award. Women's volleyball suffered a tough loss for their home opener on Monday from number 6 University of Washington. The Ramblers struggled to keep up with the undefeated Huskies as they were swept straight in sets. Washington led all 3 matches from the beginning, leaving Loyola in the dust by several kills. Freshman Morgan Reardon had a match-best 11 kills. The team is going on to open conference play tomorrow at 7 against Northern Iowa at home.
The men's soccer team competed in the Eastern Illinois 50 Years of Soccer tournament last weekend, splitting their matches against host Eastern Illinois and Northern Kentucky. The Ramblers beat Eastern Illinois handedly 4-1 in their early game before falling 1-0 on Sunday. In Saturday's win, junior Brian Baumet scored 3 goals for the Ramblers, giving the team their first hat trick since the 2010 season. Senior Eric Knox scored the 4th goal. On Sunday, an early first-half goal given up by goalkeeper Tim Dabrowski in the 14th minute ended the Ramblers' chance at a victory. The Ramblers are next in action Saturday when they travel to Milwaukee to take on Marquette. The Ramblers will be looking for their very first victory against the Golden Eagles, as they're winless against them in their last 13 matches. As we learned last week, the Missouri Valley Conference has a storied history. Our own Nick Amatangelo took a deeper look at some of the teams that have come and gone from the second oldest conference in college sports. Nick?
Thanks, guys. So we know the Missouri Valley Conference was formed way back in 1907, and throughout its history, 45 teams have been part of the conference at one point or another. So without further ado, let's take a look at the top 3 schools you probably didn't know were once a part of the MVC. Number 3. University of Louisville. That's right, the defending national champions of college basketball were once full-time members of the Valley. They joined the conference in 1963 after 15 years competing as an independent school. They made it to the NCAA Final Four twice in the 12 years they spent in the Valley and took the conference title 6 times. Louisville left the MVC in 1975 to found the now-defunct Metro Conference. They currently compete in the American Athletic Conference, but they're leaving for the ACC in 2014. Number 2, Nebraska University. The Cornhuskers were actually a founding member of the MVC in 1907. They were part of the Valley until 1919, and then again from 1921 until 1928. While in the Valley, Nebraska won 4 conference basketball titles. In 1928, the MVC divided, and several schools came together to create a conference that today is the Big 12. Nebraska was a member until 2011, when they left for the Big 10. And your number 1 school you probably didn't know was once a part of the MVC is Cincinnati. That's right, the team Loyola dispatched in the 1963 basketball championship was actually a member of the MVC that year. The Bearcats spent 13 years in the Valley from 1957 to 1970. Their biggest contribution was in men's basketball. The team won 6 consecutive MVC titles and went to 7 NCAA tournaments over that span, winning twice in 61 and 62, finished second to the Ramblers in 63, came in third in 59 and 60. They left to be independent in 1970 before spending some time in the Metro Conference with Louisville. Today, Cincinnati is part of the American Athletic Conference. And that's this week's NBC Top 3.
Thanks for that, Nick. Little known fact, but our former rivals in the Horizon League, Valparaiso University and Detroit University, also spent some time competing in the league at different points in the last century as well.
Well, it turns out that the rough and tough hockey players you see out on the ice have a soft spot for something very important to them: their hair. After interviewing several members of the Loyola's club hockey team, Jillian Schwartz is here to give us some insight on hockey hair, or as they call it, flow. Jillian, what have you got for us?
Well, as a young athlete growing up, you always look up to the legends in your sport. For hockey players, it's names like Jaromir Jagr, Wayne Gretzky, and Fabio. Well, that may be the case for some of the players on Loyola's club hockey team who consider their hair to be their most important piece of equipment. I had a lot of fun talking with seniors Greg Pappas, Michael Cronin, and David Zimke at length about their trademark hockey flow. But first of all, what is this flow all about?
The flow. Hockey hair, it's just long and you flow it back and it comes out of the helmet on the ice, and during the day you usually rock a snapback with it. So
for me, it's the business in the back. I think that's what really does it, is when you're out there on the ice and you got the curls coming out the back, that's what gets you going. It makes you look good, feel good.
So there are plenty of NHL players who could earn the title, but we want to know who their flow idols are.
Pat Sharp has some good flow.
Patrick Sharp usually rocks a sick flow, and then Duncan Keith, he's my favorite player. He has a pretty good flow too. So
I would have to go with a throwback. Of course, Mike Modano's been doing it for as long as I know. Just quality American, born in the USA flow.
Well, after hearing their thoughts, we decided to do some professional flow research of our own and find our flow idol. Obviously, there's a lot of competition out there, but here's our top 3. Number 3, Dave Schultz, the triple threat. Not only is he equipped with a curly flow, he has a matching sideburns and a Fu Manchu to complete the look. Number 2, Scott Hartnell. His locks are too luscious to hide, but what makes him quite the challenger is his full ginger beard. And finally, number 1, Ryan Smith. How can you resist the rock star appearance of this hockey player? The wings of his flow practically make him fly across the ice. Well, maybe, but these are just our opinions. Tweet us your thoughts for our top 3 flow famers and let us know who your number 1 is. Or maybe you have some flow tips, because as I found out, flowing isn't always easy. Luckily, I got a little bit of insight from our hockey seniors on how they maintain their mains.
Lettuce up top here. I use some Pantene Flow V. Just shampoo, conditioner, that kind of stuff.
I have to condition, and then in the morning I throw in some pomade. It's a lot of work, wet it down because it's a little frizzy when you wake up. Wet it down and then throw in some pomade, and again, just.
Well, if there's anything you need to know about hockey, just remember this: respect the flow.
I mean, it definitely helps you feel a little better once you put the helmet on and you get some hair flowing out there, but not really superstitious. As long as I just wet it back before I put on my helmet, I'm good to go.
That's the attitude with flow. You just go with the flow.
I mean, look good, play good, so.
I gotta say, guys, you have to see these flows in person. And actually, you can. They're gonna be playing a game this weekend, and they're playing against Marquette. They have a fan bus all set up, and it'll be leaving at 8:15. It's only $5. $5 for some priceless flow. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be there.
Thank you, Jillian. With one thing that we love so much about sports is the fact that they never stop. Baseball has been over since April in Chicago, but as the leaves began to change their color for the fall, we can start to say goodbye to the MLB and hello to the NFL, NHL, and NBA. Let's go now to the Weekly Ramble and see what Joe Flaherty and Rebecca Baer have to say about these endings and beginnings.
Thanks, Megan. Welcome to the Weekly Ramble, where the struggle is real and the points matter a little bit in terms of bragging rights. This segment is sponsored by the Brendan Bond Memorial Podium.
Podium? Oh, yeah.
And can I please have a moment of silence for all our Browns fans out there? Where's my dog pound? Where's
No.
dog pound?
No, this is Chicago. This is Chicago. No. Bears. There you go. That's
Okay. Okay. Let's get started now. All right. With even though baseball's been over in Chicago since about the season when it started, we're going to talk about the AL wild card here. It's a really, really tough race. So, Joe, Rebecca, who do you think is going to get it?
That's right. Okay. Well, NL wild card's pretty wrapped up in the NL Central, best division in the league. So we're going to go to the AL, and I really think one of the teams that are going to come up into the second wild card spot is going to be the Indians. They're half game out right now. They were basically left for dead on September 1st, and they were off a 5-game losing streak. They had a 10% chance of making the playoffs according to MLB, whatever scientific method they used to figure that out. Then they just started turning it around. They've won 11 out of 16 games, and they're getting production from Ubaldo Jimenez, who they paid all that money to be their ace. He's 3-0 in his last 3 starts with 1 earned run allowed. And the real reason, it's the rally chicken. Yes, there's a rally chicken that they brought in for Colin Allen, the pitcher, Chicken Al, and they've had 2 4-game winning streaks in the time they had the rally chicken, and they have the White Sox, Astros, Tigers on the rest of their schedule. If they don't make the playoffs, it'll be a travesty.
Little known fact, when Jason Kipnis started the season, the Indians' second baseman, he was having a really, really rough start to the season, and his dad apparently tweeted at him saying that he sacrificed a chicken so his son could start getting some hits.
Well, they brought one back.
Chickens are good luck because Kipnis has had a pretty good season.
I don't know. I'm going to have to disagree. I'm going to say the Tampa Bay Rays for this one. They've got an awesome pitching rotation going on, and David Price is probably one of the best pitchers right now in the entire American League. So I think when it comes down to it, they're going to get the wild card spot.
Okay. I'm sorry, Rebecca, from Ohio myself, and I really like to, go Believeland here, so I'm going to give it to Joe.
Cleveland rocks.
Yes.
Ohio!
All right, next question. On to the NFL. So last week, stud quarterback Colin Kaepernick loose definition of the word, had kind of a bad week last week. So Colin Kaepernick, is he going to come back? Can he do it?
I just think it's too early to tell. I mean, he did have a great season last year, but we're only 2 games in, 1 good win, 1 terrible loss. It's just too early to tell. I'd like to see him come back, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Okay.
Look, Kaepernick is going to be fine. He doesn't have to play the Seahawks every week, which would be the death of any quarterback. But I really don't want him to be fine. I want him to tank his career. He needs to go back to baseball. You know why? The Cubs drafted him in 2009, and they couldn't sign him. You know what they need to do? Look at this pitch. He could come out of the bullpen. Look, 82, high outside. That's precision right there. He needs to be in a Cubs uniform. Colin, do the right thing. Tank your career. Come back to the Cubs. Lead us to the World Series. That's all I'm asking.
Since the World Series for the Cubs probably is not going to happen in the near future, I'm going to give that one to Rebecca.
Fair. I tried. I tried.
All right, now we're going to go to basketball and hockey. Now, Chicago is both a basketball and a hockey town with the Bulls and the Blackhawks. Now, which team are we more excited for?
Personally, I'm more excited for the Bulls. Now, hear me out here. It's not... I mean, it's really exciting, and I'm as big of a Hawks fan as you'll find out there. But when you kind of know that they're just going to win the Stanley Cup again, it's not that as exciting as when you have a league MVP returning to your team. You have Derrick Rose coming back. It's played out like made-for-TV drama with the documentary he made over the offseason and during his rehab process. This is 22 points a night and 8 assists a night coming back to your team. Is he going to be the same guy we saw? Is he going to be? He does, and it's Derrick Rose. Is he going to be the same guy we saw dunking over the league? Is he going to be a guy who takes more jump shots? Is he going to be a guy who struggles? I'm really intrigued to find that out.
I am going to have to go with Blackhawks. There's no way you can't be excited to see the Blackhawks after the ending of last season. I mean, that was incredible, winning the Stanley Cup. Everyone's pumped up to see the Blackhawks. I'm excited for the Blackhawks season to start.
A little biased, Red Wings fan myself, and I do want to see what kind of player Derrick Rose is going to be post-ACL surgery.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to give this to Joe this time.
Winner.
50%. He's at 50%.
Well,
whatever.
We're going to see. If he tanks, it'll be
Wins
interesting.
count.
If he's good, it'll be interesting as well. So that's it for the Weekly Ramble this time. Brendan Bond Memorial Podium, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, guys. Well, if there's one thing Bridget and I can agree on, it's that we definitely aren't voting for the Hawks.
No.
Well, that will do us for us here at the Rambler Sports Locker. Be sure to like our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram and Twitter using all the lovely handles that you see below. Until next time, I'm Megan Carabelli.
And I'm Bridget Sheeran. Thanks for stopping by the locker, and don't forget to turn out the lights.